Kiki Benny.
Want to make a video topic request, or if you just want to let me know you rock with me, send a donation to the Cash App or one of these other places, you feel me? Much appreciated. And follow me on social media too. What's up, y'all? It's Nate Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador. Woo! So let me tell y'all how I'm working on a punishment for my kids today. And I would like to ask some advice from the fathers, from the fathers who feel like me and feel like the belt doesn't work. As a child who grew up getting frequent beatings with the belt, it doesn't work. I still ended up in the streets and became a felon, so it clearly does not work. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all how my kids just made total asses of themselves yesterday and really showed me that they're dingling heads, okay? So me and Rich Green, right? Because Rich Green went to the airport, picked up his son the day before yesterday, right? Because not only is me and Rich Green best friends, grew up since 5 years old, but also me and Rich Green are the same age. And our boys are the same age. They was all born in 2012 and shit, right? So they all not too familiar with each other. So day before yesterday, we get them all together. They chilling. But you could clearly see that the three of them together, the three Migos, nothing but destruction will ensue if we not like paying attention to them. And we were proving that yesterday, right? So yesterday, we get up real early, right? And we head over to the studio. We get to the studio at 1 o'clock. We were at the studio from 1 o'clock to about 8 o'clock. Now, within this amount of time, our children literally showed their ass, including doing the most stupidest little boy shit that you could possibly think of, right? So we in the South, mind you. We in South Carolina. We go to the studio. The studio's about a half an hour from the crib, right? We in the studio. We like, hey, we gonna have the kids in the stool. They can see their fathers at work, Maybe it'll inspire them to do their own music. But in all due reality, they didn't give a fuck what we was doing. All they wanted to do was sit in the living room, because the studio's in somebody's house, right? So they got a whole room that's a booth. And then they got the rest of the house. All they doing is talking loud. I don't understand how 3 kids could play Roblox, right? 2 rooms down, play Roblox, and be so fucking loud that while we recording, we can hear y'all voices, right? So immediately within the first hour, they get with that. I step out, I'm like, yo, listen, man. Y'all little niggas is too loud, man. Y'all all about to get slapped. Shut up. Shut up. Go back in the studio, trying to record again. Gotta come back out about 15 minutes later. Still mad loud, but y'all sitting down playing Roblox. But on top of that now, they're going back and forth from Roblox to play fighting, putting each other in the headlock and trying to karate kick each other, karate chop each other. Cause Rich son, right, knows Taekwondo. So they playing around like they the 3 ninjas, right? And it's probably our force, because it just so happened that we had them watch the 3 ninjas the night before they went to bed and all that. So then I'm like, hey, listen, y'all making too much noise in somebody else's house. Like, this ain't even his house, only his house. Like, y'all on the side where his older brother is, and his older brother, he not supposed to have to deal with the riffraff, that's his house. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, listen, go outside. My oldest son, Cameron, he like, but outside is boring and it's hot. I'm like, man, we'll take your ass outside, man, for our football kick your head off your shoulders. So they go outside, right? I come and check on them. 10 minutes later, I'm watching my youngest son, King, and Rich son running damn near a mile away from the house trying to play, right? I don't know, they playing hide and seek or whatever the hell they playing. I'm like, yo, y'all in the middle of the country. This is not New York. You gotta stay within the 4 square radius of this house that we in. Like, what's wrong with you? Y'all gonna get kidnapped or something, man. A snake fall down a tree, bite you on your face or something. Like, what's wrong with y'all? And then to top it off, right? We make it to the end of the session. The end of the session, which was supposed to be the end of the session, this is about 6 o'clock. We doing the very last song, right? The engineer forgets to mix the record, right? But while we recording, the whole computer turns black and turns off. All the service in the house goes off. We like, oh shit, the fuck going on, yeah? Do you know that the engineer's brother comes out? He like, hey, listen, I need the fathers and all y'all to come check out what the kids did in the backyard, man. They done dug up the wire and cut the wire with an axe. I'm like, with an axe? So, you know, before I even get there and see what happened, as a father, your blood pressure is already starting to boil, right? So get over there and we go look at the ground, right? It's an 8 to 12 inch hole dug up into the ground, right? Inside that hole is an axe. An axe and a little like shovel type thing, right? The dirt is dug up, and then there's a red wire that you could see was deep under the dirt. A thick wire that's cut. Not only cut, it's a whole piece that's taken out of the wire, and it's to the side. Blood is boiling. And you know what these kids do? They lie. First thing they do is lie. Now, my oldest son, Cameron, right? He wasn't actually doing the act with them, but the little nigga was watching them do it. And I'm like, okay, Cameron, so you just told me everything they just did because you want me to know you wasn't there. You snitching so you don't get your ass kicked. But you telling me you watched your younger brother and his cousin get an axe and a shovel and dig into the fucking ground. You didn't think to come knock on the door and tell your parents anything. And tell their parents anything. You didn't think to do that at all, you little asshole, right? Right? But every 5 minutes, you knocking on the studio door talking about you want a peanut butter and jelly. You want some chips. You want something to drink, huh? That's funny. If this was a murder, you would be locked up you would be locked up for being in accomplice to murder. You know that, you little asshole? Right? I'm like, you about to be in trouble. But then the main culprit, right? My youngest son, King, who this is the longest period of time straight that he's ever been with me. You know what I'm saying? Before I moved to South Carolina from New York, I only had him once every other weekend because me and his mom was not dealing with each other, you know? So that's less contact I was having with his mom, and I also was working, and I only got him when I was able to get the other one to keep him for myself. But I was still like having sex with my oldest son, Cameron's mother. And she was always in my hood, so I always seen Cam extra. I feel like I'm really getting to know my younger son now, and I can see he's definitely my son. It's a little dickhead. So my son, he makes me upset because I'm looking at a hole in the ground, and then I'm talking to him. I'm like, nigga, This right by the car. This hole was not here when we got here, nigga. We gotta pay for this. This is anywhere from $100 to $200, you little ding-a-ling head. He lying in my face. I'm like, all right, cool. Come with me to the bathroom. So we go into the bathroom, right? I had a word with him, you know. Not a very harsh word, but definitely I had a word with him real quick. And then we sit them all in the living room, no games, no nothing, to sit down, right? They crying like little bitches, right? They end up going to sleep. We gotta start our last song all over, right? So then by the time we get home, it's late, right? I'm tired. Bro tired. I go in my room and I get some rest, you know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't rest. I did some editing and stuff like that. Bro went into the other room. He immediately went to sleep. He really ain't getting no sleep, you know what I'm saying? So I basically watched the kids and I told them, I'm like, yo, y'all gonna watch these 2 movies and y'all gonna go to bed. I ain't let them play the game or nothing, but like I said, I'm thinking of a punishment. Like, see, I already have it in my mind to make both of my boys do book reports, right? But I don't necessarily know if that's a good enough punishment. Because, see, I don't believe in the belt. I'm not just going to beat up my kids, you feel me? One, this ain't the 90s no more. They'll put me in jail for that and not let me see my child. And act like they know what's better for my child than me, which is outrageous. But, you know, that's what parents go through these days in this PC society. So I'm thinking about having them write something like 100, 500, 1,000 times, you know what I'm saying? Because my youngest son, what he did, he like, I know him. He usually be chilling. He don't goof off too much. He be chilling. So I'm like, okay, your cousin get around, you being a follower? Because what he literally said was, he told me to do it and ratted out Richard's son, right? And I'm like, one, either you lying, or 2, you a little pussy now because you snitching. So now I need to teach you a lesson on snitching, accepting your consequences, and also thinking for yourself and not being a fucking follower. And then my older son needs to be punished for being an accomplice but acting like he's not supposed to be punished when he was sitting there watching. When he could have came, and that's the situation where you supposed to tell. Because these niggas is using an axe to cut a wire in the ground and you're watching it. You're just as wrong. So I'm just figuring out how I'm going to punish these kids. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to work it out. It'll be a combination of some type of exercising. I don't know, but I don't want them to have no fun at all. They don't deserve it. And I love them very much. They don't deserve it. They did a whole bunch of crying for some kids who didn't get, for kids that didn't even really get an ass whooping. They was doing a whole lot of crying and coming home, watching the movie, thinking it's all sweet. They sleep right now at the time that I'm making this. They don't know that I'm plotting on revenge. They cost niggas extra money to pay on top of studio time, extra money to pay for damages that they did. They don't understand the concept of money and costing people money when you a little kid and you don't make no money, you know what I'm saying? But any fathers who got some intelligent suggestions on how I should punish my boys, let me know. They are both 9 years old, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different things they could do. But anything that is more creative than me slapping my kids in the face or whooping them with a belt, let me know. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.